Did God ordain this crummy year of 2020? Yes, of course he did. Now, it's always important for us to define our terms. When we say that God ordained the year 2020, we mean much, much more than that he knew it was coming, that he could have stopped it but chose not to, and much, much less than he immediately brought to pass every bit of hardship. It's somewhere in between when we talk about his ordaining of things. We know that he planned it. We know that he ordered things such that it would come to pass, but not in such a way that he would violate the will of his creatures. So when we look back and we think, man, this has been a really lousy year, we may feel a temptation to say, well, sickness is the fruit of sin, and that goes back to the garden, as if God couldn't have stopped COVID, as if he couldn't have cured COVID, as if COVID exists apart from his will. That's not the right approach. It looks good because we feel like we're trying to protect God's reputation. But the funny thing is, God doesn't want his reputation protected. Or if he does, what he wants to see protected is the glory of his sovereign majesty. There's a powerful scene in Isaiah 45 where the prophet Isaiah is speaking for God, and he's speaking to Nebuchadnezzar, this pagan king. And in that expression, God is saying to Nebuchadnezzar, I want you to know that I'm the one who put you in this place. I'm the one who set you up. I'm the one who blessed you. I'm the one who went before you. You didn't even know who I was. But the reason you were standing like a colossus astride the world is because I brought this to pass. And the reason we know that is because I bring everything to pass. I create light. I create darkness. I create blessing. I create cursing. I, the Lord, do all these things. God doesn't sheepishly confess that he ordains hardships. He boasts about it. And again, that same chapter, he talks about going before Nebuchadnezzar and breaking down the walls. And it's easy for us to think, well, this is just an affirmation of God doing good things, until you realize that those walls that God's breaking down for Nebuchadnezzar, those are the walls of the cities that are being conquered by Nebuchadnezzar. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, the good things that happen to us or happen to others happen concurrent with bad things happening to us or happening to others. That is, when the Steelers win, the other team loses. So, what about this year? What about COVID? What about these riots in the streets? What about all this uncertainty? What about the economic hardships? Where is God in all of this? Well, the answer is twofold. One, he is above all this. He is sovereign. He is transcendent. He is in absolute control. God is above every bit of hardship in any year, and all of the hardship of this year. But the second answer is, he's right in the center of it. He's right there with us. This is why David writes, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Friends, I'm tempted to think, when the new year starts, maybe things will turn around. But I know when I look at it more rationally, I think there's really not much reason for me to believe that. But I can still hope it. But whatever happens in the coming year, what I can do is rest more deeply in God's sovereignty. Not negotiate it, not try and protect him, but instead rejoice that he protects me and all of his people.